Hey everyone, welcome to Constructed Chaos. My name is Alex, and today we're going to be taking a look at Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. I finally had some time to crack open this book and take a look at what it has inside, and there's a lot of stuff in there. So I'm going to be breaking these videos up into smaller short form sections, but to throw a little extra chaos in the mix, I'm going to be going out of order. Today I'm going to be talking about the addition of tattoos to 5e. I'm so glad they put this in there, and I cannot wait to talk about it. So with that all out of the way, let's get started and talk about some fantastic tats. Alright everyone, I am so excited to talk about these tattoos, but before we do, there's one thing we need to get out of the way. I have 18 subscribers. 18, 1-8. 1-8, I don't know what that is. But one day, people are going to look back at this video and be like, wow, this guy really had 18 subscribers and he's asking for more. Yes, I am. Please, if you enjoy the content, subscribe to the channel, like, dislike, comment, tell me what I'm doing wrong. I'm open to all of it. With that out of the way, let's get into it. Most of you may be familiar with the way that tattoos work in real life, where you take a needle and have some ink on it and you put it in and out of your skin until there's an image there. As you might expect, things don't work out quite the same way in D&D 5e. Things are a little bit more magical, and honestly, they vibe right along with the rest of the attunement process because, well, tattoos in this world are magical items. They're in the magic items section of Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, so you might think, wow, Alex, that's common sense. Of course I knew that. I'm telling you this because I didn't. I was thinking I was gonna have my players walk into a tattoo parlor and just get whatever they wanted, but as I read more along and started realizing some of the broken features of the more legendary tattoos, it doesn't work that way. Being able to get these tattoos needs to be a process unless you're running a ridiculously high-powered campaign and just like throwing out magic items. That's totally fine if you do, but I think the majority of people don't. So what you're gonna wanna do is treat these as magic items. Make them hard to find. Either some stranger with a specific ability to bestow upon the adventurers a brand of magical nature, or possibly they find a magical needle in a dungeon, in a chest somewhere. Maybe it takes them a little while to figure out what that is in character. Whatever the case, tattoos work a little bit differently in this world, and you need to know. Getting into specifics and going in alphabetical order, first up we have the Absorbing Tattoo. This is a very rare tattoo that while on your skin offers you resistance to a chosen damage type indicated by the color of the tattoo. It goes as follows. Hope you don't mind, but I'm reading this out of the book. Acid is green, cold is blue, fire is red, force is white, lightning is yellow, necrotic is black, poison is violet, psychic is silver, radiant is gold, thunder is orange. That's a lot. But in addition to all these damage resistances, you also get an additional ability out of this tattoo, which is damage absorption. This ability says that you can, in a particular instance, choose to become completely immune to the damage type that's associated with the tattoo, and instead heal yourself for half of the damage that would have been dealt to you. This ability is taken as a reaction, and once used, can't be used again until the next dawn. This tattoo could be an excellent way to cover some of your weaknesses. If you're weak to a certain damage type, or you know that you're going to face a certain damage type a lot through the next section of your campaign, it could be a good idea to double down on that and make sure that you're resistant and can potentially give yourself a few extra hit points off of any damage that you take. Easily the most powerful tattoo in the whole book is the Blood Fury tattoo, and rightfully so. This tattoo is the only one that earns a legendary status, meaning it'll basically take up the upper half of your body to attune to. But once you're all inked up, you've got 10 charges on this bad boy that all come back every dawn. What can you do with those charges, you might be wondering? Well, first of all, you can use one of the charges whenever you land an attack to deal an extra 4d6 necrotic damage and heal the amount of damage that you dealt to whatever you hit. That alone is crazy. Using that 10 times a day would be nuts. And that coupled with the next benefit is even better. Whenever you're damaged by a creature that you can see, you can use a charge on this tattoo to make a reaction attack against them. And here's the kicker. There's no explicit language in here saying that you can't then use another charge on the tattoo to deal the extra 4d6 necrotic damage and heal yourself as a reaction from that damage. Insane. What a good tattoo. I can't honestly think of any way that I'm going to reward this to players until they are of appropriate level. Maybe this would be a good tattoo to give to a big bad evil guy. It is necrotic damage after all, and he'd be able to heal himself if the party is dealing a little bit too much damage. If any of my players are out there watching, sorry in advance. Next up in the book is going to be the barrier tattoo, and this one's particularly interesting because it's the first one we come across where the rarity varies depending on how powerful the tattoo is. So I guess now's a good time to point out that a common tattoo will take up a hand, a foot, or a quarter of a limb. An uncommon tattoo will take up half of a limb or the scalp. A rare tattoo will take up a whole limb. A very rare tattoo will take up 2 limbs or the chest or the upper back. And a legendary tattoo will basically take up your upper half of the body, 2 limbs and your torso. Where was I? Right, so the barrier tattoo serves to increase your AC. At an uncommon level, it gives you a 12 plus your dexterity modifier. At a rare level, it gives you a 15 plus your dexterity modifier with a maximum of 2. And at a very rare level, it gives you a flat 18. I can see this being extremely useful for things like rogues or spellcasters, classes that might have a decent dexterity score and also don't typically wear armor. And when you think about it, even at a rare level, you're only sacrificing 2 of your limbs to get an 18 AC. 18 AC on a wizard? Not so bad. Next up we have the Coiling Grasp tattoo, which, if on your skin, can allow you to exude inky tendrils to a creature within 15 feet of you. And if they don't save on a DC 14 strength saving throw, then they're going to take 3d6 force damage and be grappled by you. They can then escape the grapple in a couple of different ways, including a DC 14 athletics or acrobatics check, but they have to burn an action to do it. That said, I don't know how I feel about this tattoo mechanically. However, the flavor alone is super cool, and it is just an uncommon level tattoo. I think it's another cool one. Next up, we have the Eldritch Claw tattoo, which is another uncommon tattoo that offers you the ability to give your unarmed strikes a magical flavor. But that's not the end of it. As a bonus action, you can empower the tattoo for 1 minute. Within that 1 minute, you can hit creatures with your unarmed strikes or a melee weapon that you're holding within 15 feet of you, as inky black tendrils, here once again, super cool flavor, do an extra 1d6 of force damage whenever you make a hit within that 1 minute. As you might have guessed, this ability is only usable once per dawn. After that, we have the Ghost Step tattoo, which aside from its awesome abilities, also has some awesome flavor text about the ink itself. It's said that the tattoo phases about the skin and the lines appear blurred, making sort of an animated tattoo. I think it's super cool that this is also in the game, and I think it's really neat that not all tattoos act this way. I can imagine a player character having this tattoo and being approached by a passerby or maybe a young child asking about it. I know I've been asked about my tattoos by young children, and I can't imagine explaining one that moved. But as far as its more practical abilities, this tattoo offers you Ghostly Form, which has 3 charges per dawn. You can expend one of those charges as a bonus action to activate one of the following abilities. You have resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage from non-magical attacks. You can't be grappled or restrained, and you can move through creatures and solid objects as if they're difficult terrain. Now, if you end your turn inside of one of those creatures or solid objects that you're moving through, you take 1d10 points of force damage. And if the ability ends while you're inside of one of those creatures or objects, then you take 1d10 points of force damage per 5 feet you're moved as you're shuffled to the nearest unoccupied space. Sounds like a pretty big drawback, but it's also a really nice accolade. I can envision a lot of situations where this would be extremely useful, and as such, this is a very rare tattoo. So it would take up 2 appendages or a chest or a back. I honestly don't see that as a downside. I think it would be super cool to have a giant phantom tattoo that's shifting in and out and blurry and sort of animated, as I discussed before. I'm sold on this one. Now we come to the Illuminator tattoo, which I think is our first common tattoo that we've come across. So it would basically take up your hand, a foot, or 1/4 of an appendage. Now, when looking into the specifics about this tattoo, I realized that it doesn't do exactly what I thought it might. I thought it was going to basically be a reusable torch, which I figured, hey, might be cool for creatures that don't have dark vision to just have this glowing wrist tattoo that they can shine on anything in the darkness and be able to see. But no, instead what this tattoo allows you to do is magically scribe in the middle of the air with your finger as if it was a pen that never runs out of ink, a message. And as an action, you can make this message disappear for everyone except for you and one other person that you name. But I don't see a lot of practical uses for this aside from maybe leaving secret messages for a party that you've been separated from, or if you're playing a character that's mute and only can scribe their intentions in the middle of the air. Perhaps even this might be a good tattoo for an NPC. Maybe the party is trailing someone who's leaving behind clues, bits of breadcrumbs, somebody that's been abducted and is having to leave a trail for the party to follow. This could be kind of an interesting thing, but I don't really see it working out for every player character. Now we come to another very rare tattoo, the LIFEWELL tattoo. Compared to others of its rarity, its description is pretty short, but that makes it no less powerful. This tattoo offers you necrotic resistance and an ability called Life Ward, which basically says if you're dropped to 0 hit points, you're dropped to 1 instead. This is only usable once per dawn, but I can't imagine too many situations where you need to use it more than once per dawn. Hopefully not many. We've now arrived at the SHADOWFELL brand tattoo, which gives you a couple of shadow-based abilities. Passively, you'll gain Shadow Essence, which gives you dark vision for 60 feet, as well as advantage on stealth checks. Additionally, you'll gain a shadowy defense, which allows you to dissolve into shadow whenever you take damage, resulting in you taking half of that damage as a reaction. This is also a once per day use ability, but instead of at dawn, it resets at sunset, which is a nice little touch I think that adds some flavor to this tattoo. Now we've come to another interesting specimen in the SPELLWROUGHT tattoo. This is one of those tattoos where the rarity varies depending on how powerful the tattoo is. Put simply, this tattoo stores a spell up to 5th level that anyone can use and also stores the spell save DC within that tattoo. I can see this instance as one that I'm a little bit more ready to give out and just reward players for something really awesome they did or something they found in a dungeon, and then just know that they have that in their back pocket and wait for the opportune moment for them to unleash it on an unsuspecting enemy with a spell that's way above their pay grade. Hold on, I think I missed one here. Right. The Masquerade tattoo. Let's end this one on a good note. Although only common rarity, this one offers some awesome abilities and flavor text that's suitable to just about any player character. As the name suggests, the tattoo itself can be anything. It can be a bird, it can be a dragon, it can be a rock. I don't know, anything you want it to be. And unlike real life, with this particular tattoo, if you don't like the design that you picked, you can change it to something else. Say you picked Kermit the Frog and you want a butterfly now. You can do that. Whatever you change it to does have to be no smaller than a single copper piece, but it can take up your entire body. As a bonus action to change the shape of your tattoo, could be really cool to blow this thing out of proportion, take up your whole body, give yourself some awesome tribal tattoos if you want, make yourself look intimidating. If one of my player characters did that to intimidate an NPC, I might be inclined to give advantage. When would it not be convenient for a character to have access to Disguise Self once per day? It is only a DC 13 from being discovered, but I find that a lot of the time, whenever my players run Disguise Self, my NPCs don't even really get suspicious unless they have a reason to. All that said, I think the Masquerade tattoo is probably one that I may actually give to my party. If you guys are watching, spoilers. Well, everyone, that's pretty much going to wrap it up for us on our first adventure into Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. I am planning on doing a lot more of these videos, a little bit at a time. Thanks for sticking around to the very end of the video, but before you go, I want to know what tattoos you're most looking forward to. Maybe it's one that I missed or didn't go into enough detail on. Let me know in the comments. I am open to any kind of conversation, even if you're just telling me that I'm wrong. I'm okay with that too. Also, if you're interested, this entire channel was created out of the necessity to share the awesome adventures that occur during our weekly campaigns over on Twitch. You can find that link below. The current schedule for our campaign, The Wrath of Zealous, is every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central Time, and we have all of the past episodes uploaded on this YouTube channel in case you want to catch up. I hope to see you there. We have a lot of fun, and we'd love to have you, but until then, let's make some chaos.